Imagine doing everything right. You have the firewalls, the encryption, and the compliance certificates, but then the very people that you handed the keys to, the researchers that you trusted to find a cure for cancer or Parkinson's, take your data and list it for sale on a global marketplace. This isn't, unfortunately, a what-if scenario. It just happened to one of the most prestigious medical databases in the world. Today, we're looking at the UK Biobank breach and what it means for your HIPAA strategy here in the US. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to the HIPAA Insider Show. I'm Adam Z and I'm glad that you're joining us for another deep dive into the world of healthcare security. Our mission is to make high-level HIPAA compliance and technology insights available to companies of all sizes, not just the mega corporations. And before we get into the meat of this biobank story, do me a huge favor, hit the like button, share this episode with a colleague who needs to hear it, and make sure that you're subscribed. Your support helps us keep this educational content coming your way every week. So this week, we're reviewing the UK Biobank incident, which is a case study in insider threats. Let's get into the facts first. So what happened? The medical info of 500,000 participants in a scientific program was offered for sale on the Chinese e-commerce site Alibaba. The participants' information that was offered for sale included their gender, age, month, year of birth, the socio-economic status, lifestyle habits, and biological sample measures. The incident was confirmed on April the 23rd, 2026 by government officials. How it happened, it was not a cyber attack or an external hack. It was described as a legitimate download by an accredited organization. And it was a contractual breach by rogue researchers at 3 academic institutions. The motive behind it is unauthorized monetization of sensitive research data. So basically, the data was up for sale for profit. This has all been reported by James Kelly and Liv McMahon at the BBC. Now let's dive into the aftermath of this. So the CEO of the biobank, Sir Rory Collins, claims data is safe because it is de-identified, i.e. there's no names or addresses associated with the records. But experts warn that de-identified data can often be re-identified through cross-referencing. And we've talked about the mosaic effect risk on previous episodes with our guests. So if we put this into a HIPAA context, because obviously this was not a US breach, the equivalent would be US providers looking out for their business associates, which represent the same risk profile as the rogue researchers responsible for the UK Biobank incident. So this incident happened, and I'm sure there'll be fallout and further reporting as more info becomes available. But let's look at some of the things that can be done to mitigate this, could have been done to mitigate this, and mitigate similar incidents from happening in the future. So first of all, let's talk about trusted research environments, TREs. A trusted research environment, what happens is you would bring the researchers to the data instead of the data being sent to the researchers. This would involve secure cloud enclaves where downloads and copy and pasting from and to the servers would be disabled technologically. This stops the data being exfiltrated. Another mitigation strategy is digital watermarking, so embedding a unique, traceable fingerprint in every dataset export. Just think, for example, and I'm not sure if you can see this, but my background image at the bottom right, there's a logo of Gemini, which is where I generated it from. So digital fingerprints that make it undeniable accountability if data services on the black market. Restrictions on egress and egress monitoring. So you could put in place automated systems that block or flag abnormally large file transfers. and also have baseline monitoring in place of legitimate user behavior to catch anomalies if a user performs an action that is out of the ordinary. Another option is the use of synthetic data, which we've also talked about on previous episodes. So using AI to create fake data with real statistical properties. And this is being used more and more with research endeavors. Synthetic data is pretty much valueless to thieves, but it's 100% useful for early stage research and testing. And then finally, institutional liability. So enforcing financial and legal penalties on the sponsoring institution, not just the individual. And this often requires governance at a higher level. So what's our closing advice for providers? Well, the insider reality is that most breaches are caused by people with keys to the kingdom and not by external hackers. So audit your business associates, move beyond the paper business associate agreement that you all have signed with the BAs, and ask about their internal monitoring processes and procedures. Employ the principle of least privilege. Limit data access to only what is necessary for the specific task at hand. And make sure you're staying up to date with the latest HHS bulletins. For example, shifting towards making addressable safeguards now required. To close this out, the UK Biobank incident is a wake-up call. It reminds us that security isn't just about keeping the bad guys out. It's also about managing the good guys who have access. And as we move into 2026, the focus is shifting from perimeter security to data governance. Know where your data is, know who has it, and use technology like TREs and DLP to make sure it stays where it belongs. And if you're worried about your own data egress or how your business associates are handling your patient records, don't wait for a breach to find out. Consult with a HIPAA specialist or a secure cloud provider like HIPAA Vault to see where your gaps are. And that's it for this week's episode. I've been Adam Z, and this has been the HIPAA Insider Show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.